To use your service is expensive, and now even
Okay, wait.
and now even the fee are vigorously darn high.
Give my boss the finger in my private jet flyby.
To use your service is expensive, and now even
Okay, wait.
and now even the fee are vigorously darn high.
Okay.
Is this true, and why?
Hmm. Expensive. It depends on which category that we're looking at. For example, I don't rush when I do my things with my clients. I do charge for the service that I'm doing. For example, like if I receive a resume, I can tell you one thing: 80 to 90% of resumes that I am receiving normally, no employers would be interested to hire, because there is no such thing as presentations. Writing a resume, it's for an HR, is like a form of art. You need to do the right wordings.
Yes.
You need to do the right pitch. You need to really write exactly what the employers would expect from that positions, but without losing, or I would say without lying. Then how are you going to do that? You need somebody that understand how to write proper English, number one. Number two, people that really understand you. And to understand you means to say that I need to talk to each and everyone, get them assessed in personal matters, see on the potentials, and then I can do a match over with the vacancies that I have or future vacancies that I would look for them. And that's already time consuming. So, and number two is also something that people don't understand, which I also don't tell them in public. Just I think this time, since you asked, that I would deliver to public. One client, normally I would have 3, sometimes 4 to 5 different set of resumes. Not lying. Remember, it's only creating different presentations towards their experiences, towards their educations. Because, for example, they had worked as a customer service representative. This is just an example of line staff position category C, NOC level. They've been working as customer service representative, and the job available but part of the job as customer service representative in Indonesia is also to put themselves as a sales marketing people, which is, or you could say, a telemarketer. Yeah. And then you see vacancies as, for example, as a receptionist, which is also handling calls. They're qualified, yes, but then again, if you put this kind of experience in the resumes, employers would not be interested. Then you need to put, a little bit differentiate the experience without lying it, and deliver exactly what the jobs would match out for them. You see, each and every clients we do things personalized. We take our times, we put an effort on each and every one. And this is why we charge a certain amount for that kind of service. And if it is higher than now, vigorously high, it's now, well, I don't know if you're aware, which I can tell you one thing. We are no longer, I personally doesn't really look for. In the past, I do resumes, look for the right jobs for them, which is matching with the experience, checking their references, and then look for another jobs for them, which is suitable with their experience and also with all the references available. Then I match out, making sure they don't really get scammed, making sure that they don't really get high charges. And if there is one of potential partner in Canada that's saying that, okay, I might be getting a job and this is an X amount. It's just normally that the moment that I see the number is vigorously high, I normally say it's no. Because why? It's because all the payments that we do, we're not allowed to take work permit, or migration fees, because this migration fees you need to pay it directly to Canada, number one. Number two is because only licensed consultant by ICCRC, RCIC are allowed to take this kind of money. And number two is also I don't provide an advice legally on how to proceed with your applications. I can provide general, which is the general information is available in Canada.ca, which is everyone can read. But legal advice on how to do it properly, written the forms and stuff, this can only be done by the license. And sometimes the licensed consultant charging it quite high.
You mean outside Indonesia?
It's not our fees, their fees.
Is it outside Indonesia or in Indonesia?
Which one?
The one you mentioned.
For whom?
I mean, is it the company is Indonesia or outside Indonesia?
Well, if they're charging, normally the clients will transfer the money to Canada on trust account. We always deal with trust account. We don't deal with a personal account in Dubai or personal account in China or personal account in Philippines or personal account in Turkey. It has to be with a company registered or RCIC registered trust account. Then this is always that we emphasize to clients. So it's not some personal accounts that we took or they took, to be precise. So it's not our fees that high. It's just their fees is really becoming quite handsome.
Oh, but I mean, why they put the numbers so high? Like from
Okay, so why the number is high?
yeah,
I
because
tell you one
like
thing.
frankly speaking, like normal people, like
Mhm.
oh, okay, this is the cost of LMI, or this is the cost for putting on an ad. When the total, let's say 6,000, and then went up to, you know, it's getting
Yeah, I
higher and
understand.
higher. So because some people they're never thinking about like why they can raise until 20K or 30K, but
Yeah,
actually if they break down like oh the cost of LMI just like 1,000, and then the cost of put an ad blah blah blah. So can you answer that question? Because some people they just thinking like roughly like that.
yeah, I understand. This is also a question that coming into us almost on a daily basis. Why it is so high? Why it is? And I said we don't create charge. I
Yeah.
can only tell you this. The government, unfortunately, the government of Canada now stipulated and very clear, which I need everyone to understand. I cannot answer it directly, but I can tell you this story, which is you need to come up with your own conclusion. Most of the people that runs a business in Canada and establish themselves already for more than years, they already have a permanent employee, they have a several businesses, and they have steady businesses throughout the year. They don't need manpower mostly. So the one that need manpower normally, new businesses that probably rising up quite fast, and they earn. I mean, the income revenues is hitting 1 million Canadian dollar, and they need manpower to increase their operations, enlarge the revenues for them. But to do that, it means that they need to be open with the government, shows the financial reports, and pays the fees of 1,000, and then providing air tickets, and then paying for all perks. And this is already expensive exercise. And if we are an Asian businessman, which is also having a good numbers in Canada on investor visa, how would you think that you would calculate if you need to open your financial records to the government? That means government would know how much do you make annually. Number two, then you need to pay on certain amount. And in Asia, mostly they always calculate risk that they don't want to risk more than 20%. So what happened is there are some rumors again stating that some RCIC in concert with the employers are taking monies to recover these costs and put it on the future workers that they're going to hire. I don't know whether the rumor is true or not, but all I know is All payments are done to trust account in Canada, so the payment is legit, and it's not a fake account in Dubai or whatever it is. We don't charge extra amount of that cost because we don't charge for the job. You know? Everything will be paid through the work permit process. So I can't answer very clear, but I already give you an idea on how the LMI works and how the LMI getting it done. So it's not like you apply for LMIA and then the ESDC or Service Canada would then approve it and pays for the $1,000 on each. No, it's not. But there are some documentations need to be prepared. There are things that they need to show. One of them is financial reports. And this is something that people don't understand, because the thing is, if they would read it carefully on the regulations, they would understand that there are other risks and also probable expenses occurred simply because they are going to hire you.
Yeah, that's true. Well, now is at least you're giving us a better understanding, because some people they just read on the, like in a website, oh, the cost LMI 1,000, and then the cost air flight ticket like 2,000, and then because I'm trying to address these questions, because a lot of people asking about this, why it's so expensive, but they don't know what the process that the employer been through to get the LMI, right?
And that's why sometimes it's always good to ask the questions in details. I don't answer it to just anyone. All of my clients normally are properly briefed and details on how the LMI would work, because this is actually available in Canada, in Canada.ca. I cannot tell you that my assumption is correct, because then I would only say rumors. That there are employers that in concert, but the thing is, this is still rumors. There is no proof of evidence, or Service Canada found that this is true. So if the costs are high, probably also because of the process, it takes time, and they would like to yield revenue. So I would say that, pretty much that is always on a gray area.
Okay, next questions. Why actually getting an offer for TFW through LMI and or PR with job offer is expensive?
It's not us.
Again, it's not us.
It's not us. I don't know. I mean, you've been. I mean, you know our company back then since 2008.
Yeah.
I still have your first contract with Dubai company in Zuma, and then, because the thing is, I always kept record of everyone's in files. In all the years that we worked, we never liked charging clients. We never enjoyed charging them high amount. We always against those policies.
Yeah, it's true.
But the thing is, if we are dealing with foreign countries, for example, like Canada, it's so complex and they are very well regulated, and for some reason the employer would always come to think, well, not just employer, actually, some of potential client also, that having an idea of that agents normally will charge arms and legs. So with that kind of presumptions on us, without knowing us first, and having a bias, then it creates an atmosphere, an idea that we need to deal with the local agents or with the local lawyers. This is what we do. But then again, the local lawyers, of course, need to make the yields, and they need to pay for certain amounts on expenses on offices and stuff. They need to cover their own expense. And because of that, they calculate over the time consumed on each and every assignment. So they have that amount given to us. We don't do extra amount after the money is, the amount given to us. It's exactly the amount that they need to pay. They pay directly, and then we get a commissions from the process itself. So we don't earn from clients throughout the money to take, because the thing is, by law in Canada, we always take everything as commissions, and then we don't charge extra, or especially push everyone to pay for a job.
Yeah.
We are not allowed. It's illegal.
Yeah. So guys, now you guys understand. So the next questions. What is the most economic way for potential should aim if they would like to migrate and what they need to prepare?
Education goes to master degree.
That's the
That's number
economic way.
one. Education, master degree.
That's the economic
You
way.
have the most economic way, which is I'm sure that when you say economic meaning cheap,
Yeah.
you can even I can tell you one thing, you can even do it yourself, and this is something that I'm sure that everyone would need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Canada, they don't look for anyone to enter their
Mm-hmm.
country and stay permanently.
Mm-hmm.
Canada always prefer to have people
Oh wait.
that is they really want to have people that can develop the country
Mm-hmm.
and they can grow the country together.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the foundations on each and every one that coming into Canada need to understand that you need to contribute to the country once you enter the country.
Mm.
So, having said that, meaning to say that the country needs to make sure that each and everyone that given, a trust to stay permanently with them,
Mm-hmm.
it is the person that having the right skills to
Yeah.
develop, having the right, of course, communication skills, because then how are you going to communicate? The single wrong ed use or a past tense use in English, it
Mhm.
already creates different meaning.
Mm-hmm. 1 second.
But for some, for some Asian, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
hello,
Yeah, sorry, I just closed the door.
you there?
Is it? It seems like the poor connections.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay. Yeah, but the problem is with some Asian country, past tense, present tense, future tense, or you could say grammar in general, they're permissive. When you see the mistake, they just say yes. And this is something that actually is also will come problems when it comes to migrating to Canada.
Yeah.
Because you cannot, read it wrong, spell it wrong, pronunciate it wrong. You cannot do this with English.
Yeah.
So, having said that, back to Canada's topic, permanent residence, economic way, then you need to have this element. Meaning to say that with the CRS scores on Federal Express entry right now, always maintained at the staggering point at 471, 72, 75. Then, if you look on your CRS, it's always good to have master degree, CLB 8 minimum, 4, 5 years or more experience, but your age needs to be under 35. Because once you are 36, then it minus between 1 to 5. 37, you are reducing again. 38, then you are reducing again. The amount of CRS pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you lose your scores.
Yeah.
Because remember one thing, the productive age is always 25 to 35.
Yeah, that's true.
So once you have that, and you can show that you have English at the CLB 8 equivalent, you have 5 years experience in NOC. Remember, there is a section in Canada.ca, which is, I can tell you, in-demand professions, which is on the category NOC 0, A, and B in Canada.ca. Have a look on that particular, match out with your experience. If it is a match, then I can tell you one thing, you can apply for express entry. You don't even need a consultant to do it for you.
Yeah.
But then you need to be a master. You need to be a master. CLBA, 5 years experience in that particular professions. And by the way, you need to have sufficient funding to show to the government that you can that you can manage a minimum 12 to 15,000 if you're single, and more if you have family.
Yeah.
Because you normally, and without this fund, then it's also a waste. They will not be approving you.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure you don't get convicted in crime, of course, and stuff. Then it's only paying about $1,040 for residence and work permit.
Oh.
So it's the most economic way.
Yeah. Or
Or you ask me, prepare your detailed resume, prepare your details data, yeah, which then I need to ask my partner, because then I'm not allowed to do this because I don't have license. Then you would end up between 3,500 grand or 2,500 up to probably about $5,000.
Wow.
That is for the cheapest, you would say, or you would say normally economic way.
Yeah.
And second one is, if going through on the previous stream that we develop for each and every client, which is we hunt for the job, we look for the suitable job, look for the right partners to represent you and move your case files, get the right job offers from the right employers. But then this is a lot of work from our side, and unfortunately, in the past couple of years that we are operating, this is somehow are not really appreciated. So we are stopped doing this. So I would say the most economic way is through express entry as of today.
Yeah, there's the easy way, and they can
I
do
wouldn't
that.
say easy. I wouldn't say easy. Cheap,
But it
yes.
depends on the profile as well, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because some people, they just like, I was just okay, apply something, and then they say, oh, it's not easy. I have to provide my IELTS. I have to go to, of course, but you can do it in your country, as said.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Canada is not stupid. They're looking for the high profile as well.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Right. So last questions. Which
Yeah.
migration stream that you could assist for interested migrant right now?
I would always recommend, of course, if you have sufficient funding, the best. I mean, this is something, because the rejections on PR application is a minimum. Is when you do a business stream or economic stream, meaning to say, this is what we do right now with a company called Global Migrant. Global Migrant is designed actually for this. They're actually handling a citizenship by investment program in some Caribbean countries. They design, positions in Canada with some top RCIC on handling a business migrant. That means investor, entrepreneur, startup, or owner-operator system on stream. And then this is actually the best way to get a PR status, and we can help also. We can do a TFW always, but then again, cost is really high lately. PR with job offer under the Atlantic and provincials nominations, also we can do that. But then again, remember, these costs with job offer are not as cheap as what probably that you think. It's always good if you can find yourself job offers, but then again, normally people or employers wouldn't look at you because of your current positions, probably not in Canada.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you see resumes, I don't know if you're aware. You're in management now. If you look at the profile of potentials, colleague,
Yeah.
and you look at Indonesia, the moment the first questions normally is the questions:
Too
do I
far.
need to sponsor him or her?
Yeah.
Do they need visa?
Yeah.
How long will it take for them to get here?
Yeah.
So, and how long should I wait? So this always comes a very hefty cost, and because of this exercise.
Yeah.
And this is always advice that always go with a business stream right now, or if you know how to link up with a formal education stream, then it is also a way, but we don't do it. So I think we're left only with two options. If it is coming from me personally, or Job&Training Network goes with the workers, or global migrations for business and business and economic migrant.
So talking about the business stream, there's a lot of people asking, like, what is the minimum?
Okay.
Minimum.
I can tell you one thing. If you have limited funding, we need to check each and every profiles. For example, I have a couple of stream that actually only cost in total of less than 120,000 Canadian dollar, and that's already you can enter Canada from within 2 to 3 months and get a PR applications completed and a PR status in 12 to 18 months. I have that in files. So that means in rupiah probably 1 billion.
Yeah, but
Then you can get a PR for you and your family.
so you mean like the proof of found, like you say, like let's say under 200K, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they gonna submit their applications in their country, I mean in Indonesia, or they have to flew to Canada and then dealing with all the paperwork in Canada.
If you are looking for, this is what you're talking about, suggesting that this is for employer operator stream. Employer operator stream is always recommended for you to fly to Canada, because the thing is you get to choose the business that you're going to run.
Yeah.
But then again, employer operator stream, this is not a PR stream. Remember one thing. The moment you have it, because then you have your own LMIA process, then you can get your LMI approved pretty fast, about one to 2 months maximum, because you're an owner and operator. And then you can get your PR status only if you can match with the CRS scoring and if you meet the minimum CRS scoring given by the federals. So the question is whether you should come to Canada. Yes and no, it depends on the stream. But if you are an owner-operators that you're referring to, because they're 150 or less than 200K, that's going to be, it's not for an immediate PR. But there is a high chance, because with owner-operators, you have an extra 50 to, I think about 50 to 200 points of CRS. And that's already a lot.
Oh, one more questions. Like there's some, like the rich Chinese people in Indonesia, they asking me, like, is it true if I move to Canada, just buy the properties, which is there's a minimum property that they can buy, and automatically, and then put some money in the bank, and then they can have a permanent residence? Because there's a lot of people ask me.
I can do solid. If they have 350,000 Canadian dollar equivalent, I would be able to link them up with government, federal system, that they are investing with the government, of course. This is not refundable money, and they can have PR approved easily within the next 12 to 18 months, without having to do IELTS. Without having to have proper educations. Even if you don't graduate junior high school or even elementary, it's fine. But as long as you can commit with 350,000 Canadian dollar, this is also we can do. And this is actually one of the particularly because less headache and yielding more, honestly speaking. So this is what we do right now, and that particular is actually one of the best solutions. Then after you get your PR, you stay in Canada for 2 years, and then nobody can revoke that that status.
The status, yeah. But the money is 350K. It should be staying in the bank, or
well, it's going to be invested into Canadian government.
Okay, so you can use it for your.
Unless you go a little bit jumping over the door. If you are willing to put 1.2 million in Canadian dollar on certain federal stream, and then normally the Canada government will refund their money back within, I think, about 5 to 10 years. I'm not sure. I have to check that. 5 to 10 years, then the money will be refunded back to you, no deduction. Yeah. This also can be done, but then it's 1.2 million Canadian dollar, and the money needs to be shown that you get it legally. It's not because of money laundering, drugs money and stuff. This is something that they don't want. I mean, Canadian government doesn't want this.
Exactly.
And then also one thing that needs to be emphasized, they need to show that they have an asset of 2 million Canadian dollar equivalent minimum.
Oh.
If they have this, then I would say you got yourself a very good consultant team in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
I normally handle personally with this kind of clients. I normally talk to them and get through them and see whether the paperwork are done completely and in a very in a timely manner, because this is what we call a premium clients.
Wow.
So yeah, if the question is why Mr. Aditya is not handling me personally and stuff, because then I have this VP that I need to attend, and these people normally with this kind of money they don't want to wait for things, and because I have a very good handsome fee paid by them as well, to be honest. I'm sorry, but I have to work.
Okay. Shall we end this video call or?
If you have any other questions that you need to pop out.
Yeah, I just wanna give you like a lot of people thinking like back to the about education study. I mean visa student visa, because some like couples, they're willing to move to Canada, so they trying to take a short way like sending his or her partner to get a school in Canada, and then after that they're gonna apply open work permit, right? Because they're gonna bring their families too. So, do you think this is the best way for them to get the PR?
Remember one thing. I think we need to go back to an understanding of type of visa.
Mm-hmm.
You have TFW, temporary foreign workers, which is very well regulated, and you need to apply for labor market impact assessment, or normally people would say LMIA. Then the process needs to be done over with the employers applying to Service Canada and stuff. Number two, then you have student visa. Student visa is basically designed for people that want to study. But there is an edge, or there is a benefit behind it. Anyone that study and married or have kids, they can bring the family as long as they show they have the financial ability to cover their expenses. That's the other thing. And then what will happen if the spouse are there, the kids already grown up, then the spouse can work and they can apply for open work permit. This is true. But then again, with open work permit, normally, unless, or I could say not normally, unless they are a very high ranked positions, or they can ask for a transfer from the current company in anywhere in the world, and they are on NOC A or B, then you get yourself a chance to get a PR. But if you don't get an NOC A or B, then I would say the chances are slim to get a PR. Remember one thing, permanent resident, Canada wants really qualified people that having the right skills, not just people that really wants to move.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hope that answer your questions.
Yeah. So because there's a lot of people like they just want to get shortcuts because they show like some other channels or some other, there's a lot of channels in around Canada, not only from Indonesia, maybe from India, Philippines. They're just giving like a misleadings. So, and they always.
I would say I wouldn't say it's mislead. It's it is like this. You see, 2010 or 2011, you were approached me and asked me to study about Canada, and I decided to jump right off the cliff on 2017 and 2018 and start up things. Now, those years, I read through the whole Canadian government's on migrations. I'm not a migration consultant. This is not an advice. Remember one thing. But what I mentioned and I stated always exactly what I read. And I see changes on the government's regulations in terms of immigrations. And what I see from immigrations is always pretty much clear. If you're not qualified, don't think that you can get a PR status in Canada. And it's never, I mean, you will never find, a shortcut on getting things done in Canada.
Yeah.
Either you follow the regulations, or you just say goodbye to the regulations and goodbye to the country that you're planning to move. Because in Canada, you are there, and I'm sure you know, there is no such thing, easy access there.
No.
I mean, I'm not there, but I see that in the regulations, and I'm not going to think that it's an easy one to
Yeah,
do.
that's true. You have to follow the regulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering, how do you get an idea that there's a shortcut on getting PR?
That's why some people they read from the website and they
Ah,
try to accumulate with their minds, oh, why don't we just do this one? And then bring our wife to get open work permit so he can work money to support her husband. So I was thinking
mhm.
that's not the really short way. And even you work, even your partner work, it won't cover the
The
school
cost,
fee
the
and the
cost of
living
living, no,
costs,
it
right?
won't. Yeah.
Because I don't know is it because my channel now in Canada become booming and Edmonton also is very well known in Jakarta.
Yeah. That's actually one of the good edge about you. And also because the thing is one thing that I actually appreciate is because at least in your channel you mentioned it very clear and very blunt. Probably because of course that you want people to have the right information, which is I thank you for it. But also the thing is sometimes you cannot change the fact, Victors. I mean, honestly speaking, I mean, I'm just a guy and a guy that's saying that, oh, it's not easy to go to Canada. And everybody says, oh, look, there's others saying that is easy.
Yeah, that's right.
And I mean, I'm only a guy that's saying, follow the regulations and you will be well covered. And everybody says, no, I want to go fast. I want to move there faster than anyone. So this is also come a mentality, especially in Indonesia. What we did, which is we don't open, of course, because that's actually our internals, was never being appreciated in the past, and then we decided at the end to go with the flow. So you probably get here soon that whoa, now we are getting vigorously expensive. It's not because we are charging it. It is because it is our partner, our counterpart that charging it, and you pay directly to them.
Yeah,
I don't deal with payments because the thing is, it's illegal to take money from you to get a job.
yeah.
I can pay. I mean, you can pay me for the certain services,
Mm-hmm.
resume writing and stuff, but I'm not allowed to take any money from you related to the job.
To the job, yeah.
This is what the Canadian government always stipulated in rules and regulations, and we are. I mean, I personally always follow the regulations. I never break a rules or on regulations stated, especially if it is in a first world country.
Yeah,
Don't do that, and I never done that.
yeah.
So just remember that. Well, if there are some people that saying there's the shortcut on doing it, just don't confront them, Victors. Just smile at them and say good luck.
That's what I always like. Okay, so if you listen to them, so just follow them. I say to them.
Okay.
I don't
It's
wanna.
always fun. It's always fun.
That's why I don't wanna make more complicated to answer the questions. Well, let them find out, right?
Yeah.
So
And they're smart enough. I mean, if they're smart enough, they would go with statistic. As I
yeah,
said, I drew a statistic over student visa. I drew student visa statistic. I drew PNP statistic on number success rate. I drew statistic number over TFW transfer to PR status.
mhm,
I mean, this is work, and this is actually, as I said, it is not something that you do every day. But unless if you love the job, which I'm loving it,
mhm.
then you're fall for it. You're doing that,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Okay.
And I can tell you one thing: people that don't read statistic and they don't read thoroughly and they don't understand coherence on English,
Yeah,
especially with regards to Canada.ca, which is well written
yeah.
in regulations, they normally get misled easily.
Exactly. Well, actually, when I moved here, I don't know anything about the CIC or whatever. But after I make my YouTube channel, I look about the CIC. I said, actually, like, oh, there is a lot of explanations that you can read through the CIC,
Yeah, that's true.
and actually the vocabulary, everything, it's understandable, especially for people like in English, right? So
Yeah,
that's why I'm wondering, like, mostly, like, most of my Filipino friends, when they apply to pre-R, they do it by themselves. They don't use the agency or lawyer or anything else. Well,
yeah,
they
you
mostly,
can.
like, people doesn't know about how the paper works, so they're using that service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
I think pretty much. I think pretty much. It covers. There is no set rules and stating that you should use an agent. Remember this.
Yeah.
There is no words, and even me, I would say, don't use me because I'm expensive. But if you want to have results, if you want to have proper written, well-written resumes delivered to potential employers and getting a higher chance to get hired by potentials, then yeah, you need to come to me. But if you think that you can do it, you do it yourself, you can, and it is cheaper that way. But when it comes to someone that is professionals enough to do it, then it comes always with a cost.
Yeah. But one more thing that they have to know, because when you submit the document to CIC,
Yeah,
the federal, if you miss one thing that they
fine.
already mentions, this is the list that you have to attach, or this is the way how you fill out the form, they will not phone you, or they just send it back directly. That's like people should know.
Yeah. And one thing, you fill up wrong forms,
Yeah,
they will also simply reject you.
exactly. That's why, like, even me, like, I have to renew my PR, right?
Yeah,
This coming
you're coming
August.
up soon.
Yeah, but I still contact my previous the agency. Immigration, who helped me through my PR, just to make sure, like, all the one that I filled up, all the one that I already attached is the correct. Because I don't want to get rejected and then I have to redo it again because it's cost me more money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this is. Huh? Do you wanna?
Nah,
No.
I'm okay. I think I should be covered. You squeeze me a lot for tonight, I think.
I know it's already 1 hour and 20 minutes. I don't know how can I upload it to YouTube. I hope people not boring to listen to our interview. So
No.
if somebody wants to using your service, just I gonna give you links below.
Yeah, just yeah, true. You can. I mean, they can actually give my. You can always give my direct email address. It's not a problem.
Okay. Would you mind to share or?
It's Aditya at jobandtrain.com. If you're looking for for the work permits and also a chance to work in Canada, then it's Aditya at jobandtrain.com. But if you're looking for an investor visa possibility or a permanent residence with an economy migration stream or citizenship by investment programs in Caribbean and some other European, then it's business at globalmigrant.com.
Okay. Oh, by the way, your service is only about Canada or any other countries?
Well, basically most of my clients that handling with citizenship by investments are Arabs, people that has difficulty to enter other countries in their passport are not as large or entities on getting a free visa, like Indonesia, for example. There are some I cannot mention, for example, like Syria or Lebanon. They want to have secondary passport that they can have access of 127 countries because of the business. Then normally I recommend them to do a citizenship by investment programs. Mostly are Caribbean countries, St. Kitts, Nevis, Grenada. We also have some people, sort of business or an executive, that looking for a chance or or becoming a permanent residence and probably citizenship in for example, like in Malta.
Yeah.
Malta has this program, which is a golden visa and stuff. Actually, some other European also has. But then this is actually for, economic migrant. They're not for everybody.
Okay. So now it's clear. I thought you just only focus on Canada or Middle East.
I wouldn't say that I'm focused. Well, for worker, yes, but for
Investment,
economy, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time.
You're welcome.
And
You
then
take care.